Hello and welcome to GrAI's Thoughts. My name is Gray, and on this show we dive into unusual conversations and thought-provoking moments from history and beyond, all brought to life for you. Today's episode takes us far from the studio. It's early 1940, somewhere in northern France. The air smells of damp earth and smoke, and in a small dugout close to the front lines, I've managed to sit down with a young French infantryman. His name is Jean Dupont. He grew up on a farm near Lyon, and now, like so many others, he finds himself far from home, rifle at his side, waiting for whatever comes next. Jean, thank you for speaking with me under these circumstances.
Merci, Gray. It's not easy, but I suppose someone has to talk about it. I'm just another soldier, right? But I'm glad you're asking, so let's begin.
Okay, Jean, before we talk about the war, I want people to know who you are. You grew up near Lyon in a small farming village, right? What was life there like? Your family, school, even what you thought your future would be before all of this started?
Life back home. It was simple. My family, we worked the land, grew what we could, lived off what we had. My father, he was a strong man, worked hard every day. My mother, she took care of the house, and I helped with whatever needed doing, especially after school. But I left school when I was 14. Had to. It was mostly just the basics, you know? I didn't really dream of much back then. Just working the farm, maybe settling down with a girl I knew in the village. Nothing grand, but all that changed when the war hit. It felt like everything I knew, it all just vanished. And now, well, here I am.
You left school young and were conscripted when the war broke out. Can you tell me what that moment was like? Do you remember how it felt to suddenly become a soldier?
Yeah, I remember it clear as day. One morning, the military came to the village. They gathered all the young men, just like that. It was surreal, really. 1 minute, you're helping your father with the crops. The next, you're handed a rifle and told to fight. There was no time to prepare for it. No, hey, are you ready? Just get in line, you're a soldier now. We didn't have a choice. I never thought I'd be in a war. None of us did, but there I was, thrown into it, no idea what was coming. At first, I was scared. Still am sometimes, but you just have to keep going, right? Keep your head down, do what you're told. It's the only way to survive.
You left school young and were conscripted when the war broke out. Can you tell me what that moment was like? Do you remember how it felt to suddenly become a soldier?
When the war broke out, they just came to the village and told us to join up. There wasn't much time to think. 1 minute, I'm helping my father with the farm. The next, I'm standing in line with a rifle. It was like being thrown into a storm without knowing which way to go. I remember feeling lost. Everything changed just like that.
The French people are known for revolution. Was there any feeling around that time with you, your friends, the other people that you spoke about, to not go to war?
There were a few who talked about it, especially in the beginning. Some of the older men, they'd say things like, "This isn't our fight." But you can only say that so much. The war was happening whether we wanted it or not. It wasn't like we had much choice. There was no revolution at that point. Most of us just wanted to survive. We weren't thinking about history or what was right or wrong. It was just about getting through the day.
Now you're stationed in northern France, living close to the front. Can you walk me through what a typical day is like out here? Where do you sleep? How do you stay warm? What do you eat? Just the small details that make our life right now.
A typical day? Well, there's not much to it. You wake up early, usually from the cold. You sleep wherever you can, sometimes in the mud, other times in a dugout. It's not a bed, more like a hole in the ground with a piece of cloth over you. Not much to keep you warm, except your jacket. And that's not saying much. Food's mostly what we can get from the supply trucks. Canned meat, some bread, maybe a little cheese. If we're lucky, we'll get some hot soup. But it's mostly about staying alert. The sounds of the front never stop. Shells falling, distant gunfire. You're always on edge. You can't forget where you are, even for a second.
You've been a soldier now for about 4 years and have seen a lot of heavy fighting, I'm sure. You must have lost comrades along the way as well. How do you deal with that, Sean? Do you talk about it with the other men around you, or is it something you keep inside for yourself?
Losing men, it's hard, you know? We don't really talk about it much. I mean, what do you say? Sorry, mate, I'll miss you. It feels like words don't even reach the pain. But we carry on, don't we? We've all lost someone. But that's part of it. If you start thinking too much, it'll eat you alive. So we drink, joke, try to forget for a while. But when you're alone, it hits. Every face you lose, it stays with you. You don't forget. You just keep going, because what else can you do?
Did you learn this way to deal with it yourself or from the other people at the front? Or is it something that you might have even learned from your father or, yeah, your older generation that has served in war before?
It's a bit of both, really. My father, he wasn't in the war, but he always talked about how you deal with life, how you keep going even when it gets tough. But out here, you learn fast. You see how the older soldiers deal with it too. They don't show weakness, never let it show. I've seen men break down, but most of us just bottle it up. You can't afford to dwell on things. Not out here. You carry the weight in silence. Try not to let it break you. It's not easy, but if you want to survive, that's how you learn to handle it.
It's early 44. The Allies are moving. Rumors are everywhere. Are you hopeful the war could end soon, or is it more just uncertainty and fear of what's coming next?
Yeah, there's a lot of talk, a lot of rumors flying around. Some say the Allies are pushing hard and that it could all end soon, but who knows? You can't trust everything you hear out here. Some days there's hope, maybe too much hope. The Allies, they've been moving, so you hear stories, but we don't really know what's coming next. Everyone's tired. Some guys are just counting the days, hoping for an end. But fear's always there waiting. You never know what could happen next. It's not easy, this waiting, the silence, the uncertainty. But hope, it's like a fire, you know? It flickers in the dark. You just have to hang on to it, even if it feels like it might go out.
Do you and the others trust the Allies, or are there still feelings of animosity towards some of them that have had conflict with France in the past?
Trust? Well, it's complicated. We've been fighting for so long, and some of us are still bitter, especially towards the English. They've been a bit too proud, and there's this history with them that still lingers in some of the men's minds. But then again, they're here to help us, aren't they? They're pushing the Germans back. I think a lot of the men are just focused on that. The Germans are the real enemy. That's what matters right now. But yeah, there's always that feeling. Some of the older guys, they remember the bad times before the war, the politics, and the ways things went wrong with the Allies. So it's tough. But if the Allies get us out of this mess, I guess we'll take the help. It's just the way it is out here. You need to focus on surviving, not old grudges.
When you think of the future, your own future, as well as France's future, what do you really see? Do you imagine going home to your sweetheart, starting a new life, or is it hard to think that far ahead right now?
Mon Dieu, it's hard to think that far, honestly. Every day here feels like a lifetime. You wake up, you do your duty, you fight, and then you're just waiting for the next order, the next day. But yeah, deep down, I do think about going home. I think about my family, my village, my sweetheart back there. I imagine walking through the fields again, just being with her, you know? But there's this weight on your chest too when you think about it. The war is everywhere, and it's hard to say when it'll be over or what's left of the country after all this. But I have hope. We all do. If I make it, I want to rebuild. Start fresh, maybe even get back on the farm, and just live without this fear hanging over us all the time. I think France will rise again. It always does. But right now, it's hard to see that clearly.
On the hard days, what keeps you going? Letters from home? Memories? The guys around you? What's the thing you hold on to?
Ah, the letters, they mean everything, Gray. Every single word from home is like a little piece of life before all this madness. My sweetheart, her words, they're the only thing that makes me smile some days. She talks about the farm, the weather, little things that feel like they don't matter. But when you're here, that's what keeps you human, you know? And then there's the guys, too. We laugh, even if it's dark humor sometimes. We keep each other's spirits up, a little bit of brotherhood in all the chaos. We remember who we are, where we came from, but on the hardest days, I hold on to the thought that it'll end. That one day I'll get to walk back home, see my family, and hear those songs again from the village. That's the light at the end of it all.
You do mention that you and your friends try to keep up the morale and having fun. Can you tell us one of those funny stories that you tell in the camp? Or can you tell us something about the common jokes of the time, if you're mentioning dark humor in particular?
Ah, yes, the dark humor. Sometimes you just gotta laugh or you'll go mad, you know? One night we were stuck in the mud, can't even remember where, but the rain wouldn't stop and all of us were soaked through. miserable. One of the guys, Jock, he says, "Well, this is the nicest bath I've had in a while." We all burst out laughing, even though it was freezing and everything felt awful. That's the kind of thing you joke about to get through it. Another time, we were hiding in a ditch waiting for orders, and a fellow soldier who's a bit of a show-off starts singing La Marseillaise to lift our spirits. But he's so off-key, even the rats wouldn't come near him. We all started singing off-key just to make him stop, but of course, it got worse before it got better. And then you'd hear some old-timer tell a story about the good old days when they were young. Back then, son, we didn't even have enough food to be miserable about. That kind of joke. Dark, but honest.
Thank you for that insight. Now, as the distant guns rumble on, Jean Dupont adjusts his helmet and looks toward the gray horizon, where the next order could arrive at any moment. In his voice, we've heard the quiet weight of countless soldiers, hopes, fears, and stubborn courage that keeps them moving forward. Jean, merci. Thank you for sharing your story with me, even in such a hard place. Please stay safe out here. And to all of you listening, if this conversation moved you, know that this is part of an ongoing series where I'm going to sit down and talk to soldiers from different nations, also in different conflicts, to give you a personal feeling about their situation. If you like this and if you want to hear more, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment with the next figure or moment in history you would like me to explore. Join me again for the next episode. I'm looking forward to see you again. Until then, take care and thanks for listening.